And he said, you can't survive off coffee. You have to figure this out. So I called an old friend of mine that I went to high school with, Alyssa Harriman, and I knew she was using the Juice Plus line, and I trusted her, and I trusted her reputation. And I said, what's this all about? Is it going to help me with energy? So after she stopped laughing at me about the coffee machine on my nightstand, she told me that it was only fruits and vegetables in a capsule, and that it had all the phyto and micronutrients, and my body was actually just so hungry for nutrition. And I was exercising daily, and I was drinking water, and I'm getting a little bit of background there. Oh, I can stay on here. And, I was doing everything that I thought was appropriate to do, but I just, for whatever reason, and later I learned it was because I was just nutrient deficient, because the food I was eating just wasn't strong enough. So I ordered the 3 blend capsules and the shakes in the Tower Garden right away. I wanted the Tower Garden because I knew I didn't have time with 1-year-old twins to have a vegetable garden. And within 2 days, I remember looking at the clock and it was noon, and I didn't need that second cup of coffee, or the third, fourth, or fifth, and I didn't need a nap at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I felt great. And I only joined the business because it was $50 to join, and honestly, I was saving over $100 in my first order. So that just made sense. Couple weeks went by, and people noticed I was getting more active, and I was taking pictures and sharing them on social media about going for runs with the boys, and they would say, how do you do it with 4 kids? And I said, you know what? And I just shared Juice Plus from the heart, and I've been able to help other women get out of that mom bee stage of just getting through the day. And the business just, when I left my job to stay home and raise the kids, I did lose that personal sense of self where I had something that was mine and was my baby. And, I wanted to contribute to the households as well. And in the past year and a half, I've been able to successfully replace the income that I earned at my previous job. And I've been able to do it while staying home with my children and being the mom and the wife that I've always wanted to be. So it's really been such a great opportunity for me to be able to do that and to be here for my boys, so that when they come over to me with a book and they want me to read them a story, I can remove myself from my desk or from my phone, and I can do that, and I can be present and be in their lives. And honestly, there's nothing better I can think of than that. And for me, just being able to be here with them just means the world to me. So my mission in this is just to help other moms realize that they can be financially independent, and they can stay home with their children if they wish to, or they can get a nanny and just be in the same house as their children if they want to. They can design a life for themselves if they're moms, or they're thinking of becoming moms, or even if they're older, they can design the life that they want. And that definitely means the world to me. So is that anybody else getting that sound?
That would be my husband.
Oh, okay.
Out of the ice maker. I'm so sorry. Mute me for a second so I can yell at him.
Okay. Just a second. Okay, I'll mute you. So I'm going to introduce Theresa. So Theresa is one of my most favorite people since I've been in Juice Plus that I've met. She is absolutely adorable, and the first time I saw her picture, I just knew she was going to be an awesome lady, and I think very highly of you, Theresa. I have a bit of a girl crush on you. So, but Theresa is from Saskatchewan, up here in Canada, and I would like you just to share your product and your business story and why this mission means so much to you.
Sure. Thank you, Jenny, so much for inviting me on tonight. I'm so honored to be here with all of you, and really actually have to just stop and go, whoa, how did I get here? It's so crazy. My journey started actually about 9 years ago. I was introduced to Juice Plus, and it made sense to me right away. And I knew that I needed it, and we needed it. I knew nothing about nutrition. I'm a mom of a girl and a boy, and I'm a busy wife, and doing everything that everyone is doing out there, and I thought we were doing pretty good. But you know what? I went to hear Dr. Mitra Ray speak, and I sat there with my mouth open for an hour going, oh my gosh, how come I don't know this information? I think I've been kept in a bubble. And so, I left that night thinking to myself, wow, I need to be part of this mission.
She froze.
Because if I don't know this, there's got to be so many people out there that don't know the thing that I don't know. You know, I mean, people don't know what they don't know. So we actually got started on Juice Plus about 9 years ago. And at the time, I had a 2-year-old son who would eat absolutely no fruits and vegetables. I didn't know what to do with him. The rest of us ate fruits and vegetables, and I honestly didn't know. So Juice Plus was a no-brainer, and we got started on it. Both our kids, they actually suffered from asthma, and it was always triggered when they got a cold. So what we noticed about 6 months after getting on Juice Plus, I hadn't needed to use their Flovent or their Ventolin. And I was like, wow, like this got my attention really quickly. And I'm like, this, obviously something's going right here. So, you know, we just kept eating our Juice Plus. And what really got my attention though was it was about 1.5 years after starting. And my husband and I were going for his annual cardiologist appointment. My husband has congenital heart disease, and he was diagnosed at the age of 32. And knowing nothing about nutrition, just, you know, kind of accepted that and decided that we just had to live each day and hope for the best. But after 1.5 years of him being on Juice Plus, his cardiologist said, "Oh my goodness, Chris, what have you done in the last year?" And in the back of my mind, I was just kind of thinking, oh my gosh, could it be that Juice Plus stuff? And, you know, I just said to the cardiologist, I said, we've been eating a whole food supplement for the last year, and really that's all we've done. And she said, well, you know what? For the very first time, your aorta has not grown inside.
Wow.
And so I was like, really, okay, tuned in then. And even my husband, he was wide-eyed, right? And thankfully, he was very faithful and had been eating. We've been super consistent. So that really got our attention. I also didn't mention that I became a distributor right at the start because it made sense to me just to get a discount. But I honestly had no intention of doing anything with this business. I was running a day home. I was running ragged, and I was just trying to survive. So, you know, I had no intentions of doing anything with this business except to get a discount. My goal was to get my product paid for. And, you know, so after our experiences with our health changes, I was like, I can't not share this product. We actually moved from Calgary, Alberta to Saskatchewan, and it was about 8 years ago now, and that's where my business exploded. The bonus when you move is you get to share what you do. And nobody knew anything about me, so I shared Juice Plus, and my business just started to grow. And I became so passionate just from our own health changes. And, you know, I'm a mom on a mission, and I just want to make a difference in people's health in any way that I can help them. And I started to really have a lot of customers who were having a lot of great changes, and my team started to grow, and my team started to have great changes. And you know what? I just couldn't stop, right? And my journey is a long one. It took me 9 years to get to National Marketing Director, but you know, that's the great thing about this business is you just don't know where it's going to take you. So it can go slow, it can go fast, you get to choose. And so that's why I'm so passionate about this business, because it can be whatever you want it to be, whatever pace and whatever you're doing alongside of what you do. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell. My husband, the biggest part of his story is he was given 5 years before he would need open heart surgery. We're at 13 years without open heart surgery.
13 years.
That's 13 years. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. So my why is huge, because how many other people are out there needing to hear about this product, about this business? You just don't know what you can do to change that person's life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Theresa. I think, you know, you answered so many of the questions that I was going to ask you. The one thing you kind of touched on is that you had talked to your doctor about being on a whole food supplement. Now, that's a great way to kind of describe, because it's not a vitamin, but how do you, for people that ask you about your product, how do you differentiate between the whole food supplement and really wrap their head around what that is without going into this crazy proprietary process detail? How do you summarize that?
I just I honestly keep it so super simple. I'm like, you know what's so cool about Juice Plus? It is just simply dehydrated fruits, vegetables, and berries in a capsule or a soft chew. And that's how it was introduced to me by my sponsor, Brenda Fishley, who's on the call. I see her there. And she just said to me, Theresa, it's just dehydrated raw fruits and vegetables in a capsule or a soft chew. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what's there to get about that? It just makes so much sense.
Right.
That's all I say.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Theresa. And thank you for being on tonight and giving us 40 minutes of your time to share your story. And it's true, like 8 years, I mean, that's nothing to shake your stick at. Like, honestly, that's still good. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, I know you said it took you a while, but honestly, like, you're there. And I remember watching your speech this past conference, and you said the only difference between a distributor and a national marketing director is the NMD didn't give up. And that is something that I repeat to my team all the time. It's something that really stuck with me, and it's so true. Like, if you keep on going, you're going to get there, right? It's like the turtle in the hair. Thank you, Theresa. So we have Courtney on the call as well. Courtney is from North Carolina, and she's National Marketing Director in North Carolina. And the first time I actually met Courtney was you came up to Canada last year for a regional in Aurora. And I remember looking at her and thinking, wow, she has really nice shoes. I liked your boots that you wore. So would you like to share your product and your business story and your mission as a mom with all of us?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jenny, so much for having me. This is always an honor. Somebody said to me, what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, I get to be on the computer virtually and work, but I'm just telling my story and hearing other people's. I mean, trying to describe what we do, it's not really work at all. I always say that when I meet people, I'm like, this is work for me. I'm having coffee with you. It's like as hard as it gets. So I love it. I do. I adore. So thank you for having me. And it was so fun to be able to travel to Canada and to meet so many of my Juice Plus sisters and friends over there. So I'm really, really honored to be here tonight. So I'll go into my story a little bit. I have a crazy story. I'm a personal trainer. I've been training for 22 years and thought I knew everything except for I knew nothing. Have you ever met a fitness professional like that before? And my degree is in corporate health and fitness. And I got the degree to go in and try to help people get healthy that were working in big corporations to lower healthcare costs so that the employers didn't have to pay so much for their healthcare costs. So just keeping the employees healthy, which is great, except for I got one nutrition course in college, and it was the same one the medical doctors got, except for I had to go to mine. They skipped theirs. And all I learned was macronutrients, which is just your fats, carbohydrates, proteins, whatever. I didn't learn anything. I learned nothing about nutrition, literally nothing. I could teach you how to quit smoking cessation, but I could not give you a plan for staying healthy for prevention. So I was going to help people stay healthy. So I decided to go into the fitness route because of wanting to have children. My husband and I had 5 children over, not all at one time, no twins. They're all singlets. But we had 5 kids over a span of 11 years. And I became a very busy mommy. I was personal training. I was trading dollars for hours. You know, if I didn't work or my kids were sick, and I'm going to get into that, they were sick all the time. I didn't get paid. I was frustrated because I was behind closed doors away from my children. My kids became what we called staff kids, which means I was working at a fitness club. And so they would go there into the child watch, and they would be in there for 8 hours a day, pretty much, when they were little. 4 hours in the morning, I'd take them home for lunch, and went back for 4 hours in the afternoon. My kids were the ones that you would say to your children, see that kid? He's got an icky nose. Don't touch him. Stay away from him. Because they were always sick. They were always on antibiotics. We had, tubes put in the ears. We had strep throat, flu. I thought the flu was just something that you got every year. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that it was an option not to get it. And what happened was one kid would get sick, and then it would go down the line, and I'm taking care of all the sick kids. And then I was the last one to get it. And it would take me forever to heal because I had been awake for 6 weeks straight taking care of sick children. So that was kind of where I was. I learned about Juice Plus over 7 years ago, and it was a friend of mine from college, and I'll never forget it. She came to the gym where I was working out, and she was like, Courtney, her twin sister was my sorority sister in college. And so we struck up a conversation, and she's like, Target, you're a personal trainer. And so she kept coming after me saying, you've got to hear about this Juice Plus. And I'll tell you, from the very beginning of my training career, I decided that I was not going to get involved with supplements, that I was not going to be recommending anything or selling anything. There's just so much on the market today. It's very confusing. I didn't want to recommend something that would harm any of my clients. I didn't have the time to research all the products, and I just said, forget it. No. So I just kept saying no, no, no to everybody. And I said no, no, no to her for a long time as well. And I finally, out of guilt, went to a healthy living event. It was in my neighborhood. I was on my way to pick up my kids at preschool. And I showed up late on purpose so that no one could sell me anything because I didn't have much time. And I got there, stood at the back of the room, crossed my arms, and skeptic that I was, I saw, actually, it was a video with doctors, and I think Dr. Mitra Ray was on the video. And I was like, God, I stood back there and I felt like, now I got to buy this stuff because it totally made sense to me. My kids, to eat whole foods, I would say this, I'm from the South. And so everything we eat is cooked to mush and with lots of cheese on it and butter because that makes it taste really yummy. So we didn't eat anything. I mean, my kids would eat fruits, right? They would eat their bananas and their strawberries and blueberries. They didn't even eat apples, I don't think. Grapes, right? And you think you're doing good with that, but they ate nothing green. Maybe a green apple every now and then. That was it. So I knew I had to get it. And so I looked at her and I said, listen, I've got 10 minutes. I got to go pick up my kids at preschool. And she goes, well, if you're going to get it for all your kids. And at the time I had 4 kids. She said, you might as well sign up to be a franchise owner. And I was like, what's that mean? And I was like, okay, I got to get all this product for all my kids. Sign me up. And I put my finger up in her face and I was like, don't you ever ask me to tell anybody about this because I'm not going to do it. And I didn't for a good bit because I got pregnant and I was really sick. But once my little one was 1, I began sharing Juice Plus. And the reason I began sharing Juice Plus is because I began to see the changes in my kids. I stopped throwing up, so I actually noticed my children and saw that, gosh, it's been a while since we've been on antibiotics. It's been a while since they've had a cold. My little one didn't get sick. It was crazy to see the difference when the older ones were little and then the baby, and the change in that was night and day. And there was one night in particular that I knew that it was game on with my kids when my 4th child looked at me at the dinner table and said, can we have raw broccoli with dinner? And I thought, that's not normal. And I, of course, immediately thought one of the older kids paid him to say it to make mommy feel better. But they were all like, yeah, we'll do it. And so I decided that night that we were going to make some changes in our house. And we did one simple change at a time. We began turning over our pantry, turning over our refrigerator, and making those changes in what we were choosing to put in our bodies. And Juice Plus was a huge part of that. It was the catalyst that got us off. I think that we as moms, we feel this we are responsible for what we feed our children. For most cases, obviously, sometimes there's a dad involved, but that gets to choose. But mostly, we're the ones at the grocery store, right? I was there the other night at 10:30 at night. I'm the one in there making the decisions for my family's nutrition, and I thought, okay, we're using this as a catalyst to make these changes in our health. And you know what happened? My kids got healthy. I got healthy. But my kids started to ask me more questions about why we weren't eating the junk anymore. They began learning. My little one's standing at the steps watching me now. They listen to me and they're learning. And this is what I know. I mean, our kids are getting sicker younger and younger and younger with diseases that were made a long time ago were for 80 plus year olds, And so if we don't start making changes as moms for our children, our next generations, who knows what their health's going to be like. So I really felt empowered to be able to change my kids' health for their future. We've got cancer in our family and heart disease and Alzheimer's, and how can I possibly protect my kids? And so this was what we did. This was just the catalyst, and it's changed our lives completely. My kids ask me now, is this healthy, Mommy? Is this a good choice? My teenagers can go and buy whatever they want to buy. My oldest is 19. He's in the car and going to whatever he wants. But they're making good choices. Yes, they're teenagers, and sometimes they don't. But the good news is when you get good nutrition in their bodies most of the time, when they make an unhealthy choice, their body punishes them, not me. And I don't even have to say anything. He's like, Mom. So it's good. I really feel empowered by that. And so as a mom and seeing the changes in my kids, what I've seen is I've been able to share with other moms, and they're changing their children's health as well. I think that most moms can relate that over time, we invest so much in our children. We invest so much in their lives and their well-being and their future that we kind of put ourselves on the back burner. And that's what had happened to me. And I remember when our 5th child was born, and I realized I was sitting in the bed with her, holding her sweet little head, and she was so cute, and looking at her, and I thought, oh my goodness, I remember when I was a little girl, I wanted to be this businesswoman that was jet setting around the world and making a difference and doing all this stuff. And I thought to myself, well, my time is over. I've got 5 kids now. I just have to, it's just about them. And it's okay. Maybe my dreams will be manifested in them, and they'll get to live the dreams that I didn't live. This business has given me my dreams back, which is, I'm going to cry. It's awesome. I found my purpose. Again, I'm a mom first. And I said that today, I posted on Facebook, I'm a mom first always. But being able to do this and to find my passion and to be able to help other moms and women find their passion and to be able to contribute and give back to other people and to society, make a difference, is empowering. And I feel like I get to leave a legacy now, for my community, for my family, for my kids. And it's awesome. Such an honor. I love it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Courtney. So one of the things you you have 5 kids. So when your last child was a year old is when you really decided to run with this business. So how was your time management spent with 5 children, a husband and a job, and then creating this?
Yeah. Balance. And I'm telling you, no excuses. It was during nap time. It was when the kids were in preschool and the baby would go down for a nap and the older 2 were in elementary school. And it was stolen moments. I would put my headset on and go to calls while I had the kids, and I would literally lay on the floor with them. So they were playing while I was on a call. I could mute my phone so my sponsor would do the talking. I mean, it was beautiful, and my business grew. I was in love with the product, so it came really easy. And I just used my stolen moments in my day.
I like that.
Big time, early morning, late at night.
Yeah, stolen moments.
Messages.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I do. I don't even want to tell you some places that I make my phone calls, but it works, and you have to do that. But so I have a question. So the friend of yours that shared this with you a time and time again, how did she share it with you that you didn't get like completely sick and tired of even listening to her? How did she slowly drip on you? Because there's a lot of people that I'm sure we all are like, oh, they would be so good at this. And it's not a supplement, but they just, it's like you can't say no to something you know nothing about, but people do, right? So how did she do that in a way that made you show up that one day?
What's so interesting is that I think we learned how we're going to be at things by learning what other people said that you didn't care for.
Yeah.
She pushed. she would like show up on my doorstep. She moved 5 doors down for me. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's why. 5 doors down for me, and she'd come with DVDs, and she'd come back for them, and I never watched them. Like, here, it was great. I never saw any of it. She was just persistent. And persistency. I say give her an A for persistency, and there's no doubt about that. I mean, a lot of people would have given up. I personally, I like to sow seeds through storytelling and not do the whole DVD in your face things. So that's me personally. And that was because of the feeling that I got from being pursued that way. Right. And so it works, it works. You definitely be persistent, just be kind and not so pushy.
Well, and also like find whatever works for you and whatever suits your personality.
Right.
So she may have just been a persistent person in nature, and maybe you're not. So you have to, because I think when people feel that persistence and it's an unnatural persistence, then they kind of stand back. But I'm the same as you. I sow seeds and wait for them to harvest. Absolutely.
Yes.
So a
But when
question
you're
then,
always sowing seeds, there'll always be a harvest.
yes, exactly.
Just saying.
Yeah. And so a question for both you ladies. So thinking about your future before you knew anything about this business, and then you're thinking of your future now, how has doing this business impacted your vision of the future? Like, where do you see yourself now that you have this opportunity?
Go ahead, Theresa.
Okay, thanks, Courtney. Honestly, I always wondered what it would feel like to be a national marketing director, and it's still so surreal to me because I'm still a very new one, but I think, oh my gosh, I'm only at the beginning because I want to help as many of my team members or sideline friends do the same thing. So I feel like my future is so bright. Like it's huge. It's unlimited, and it's so exciting to know that. And I worked at my casual job thanks to where I am now. Today I'm a bank teller. And when I go into that atmosphere, I look around and I'm like, wow, these people don't really have a choice as to what they're going to do. Like, this is their world. This is their only world that they know. And it just makes me want to go out and share with as many people as I can that there is so many opportunities out there with this business. And it's such a happy, fun place. You're always surrounded by shiny, happy people.
Yeah.
It's kind of like very surreal. So it's awesome.
Amazing. And Courtney, how about yourself?
Well, I forgot what the question was. One of my kids walked by, my brain went completely blank. Seriously.
So what is your vision of the future now compared to what it was before you knew anything?
Okay, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Oh my God. That's what happens as moms, right?
Yeah.
That's why I write everything down. No, I think what had happened, and I didn't realize this, is that we were so busy in our lives, in our day to day, and paying the bills and working, that we had actually stopped dreaming. And what I see now for my future is hope. I feel like we had lost that, and the thought that, gosh, I might be able to make my choices instead of letting life drag me along. I can actually drive my life and decide where I want to go and what I want to do, who I want to be, and I love that because I'm never going to grow up. I can promise you that. My kids might grow up, but I'm going to stay the same age, and I'm going to enjoy my life because now I get to, instead of letting life keep me down. And this business has done that for me. It's really given me that hope and the ability to dream again. It's awesome.
Amazing. Well, I'm going to unmute everyone, and if there's any questions that anyone has for anyone or even each other, feel free to. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone?
Aww.
I just want to say thank you guys for sharing from your hearts. It's very wonderful to hear from people in all different places, different countries. It means a lot to us.
Thank you so much for everyone getting on, and thank you to Theresa and Courtney again for sharing, the last 40 minutes with us. And it was an honor to be on a call with both of you and have you share your stories with us. So if anyone doesn't have any questions, I guess we'll say goodnight, and I think we all have to go back to our children.
Yes. Thank you, Jenny.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.